I love that it was Isabel that put the lights on the trees. Like, she's just off working for Christmas magic. So, Steven. Okay, now this looks. I promise you I'm not trying to get all mushy or anything. Send you pretty plants because I think they look rad, and you might think so too. And that's it. Stay rad. Muffy. You know, it's fair. You don't need to defend yourself like that. Jeez. I like flowers. Ooh, okay. Oh, my controller's low battery. How is this going to work? Perfectly fine. Okay. You might wonder why I was like, how is this gonna work? My cord here, my octopus cable, is plugged into my original Switch's dock. So I imagine if I turned that on right now, I would lose the pairing with this controller. I think I might just tidy up flowers tomorrow. We need to get to the Able Sisters, like, stat. Hey there, Neckflyer. How goes, King? Let's talk. Sometimes you get a craving for halak paneer and nothing else will do. It's fair. I'll put this away. I missed it. Right, I wasn't down all the way, that'd be why. Duskwalker, great to see you. Let's chat. Sometimes you get a craving for bibimbap? What are you two craving? Why are they both weird? Don't y'all ever just get a craving for toast? Just me? You have times where you just have a random craving for literally just toast? Like, I have that happen. You just be like, man, I could really just go for some just toast. And you go and make some just toast. You don't put anything on it. You just eat the toast. Because that's what you get the craving for. Is that just a me thing? Does anyone else do that? Because I sure do. Try it sometime. It's nice. Just plain toast. Nothing on it. Just toast. Okay, they definitely got Santa things. I have no money. I have no money. Oh no. Yeah, that's 24. The hat's probably also 24. No, the hat's exactly 2,000. I can buy the hat. I'll buy the hat because I get the feeling I'm gonna need it. So. Plus, I mean, Santa hat. I might see if I can find Santa hat to wear again this year. It's been so cold, my spines are chattering. You ever try to distract yourself from the cold by experimenting with fun, warm outfits? I recommend it. I mean, I try sometimes. I mean, I literally was just out in the cold in this. I don't really get affected by the cold. That's the thing. The cold doesn't bother me. Call me Elsa, because the cold never bothered me anyway. Like, yeah. Like, I've literally had people be like, well, it's great for you. It's like, yeah, but, okay, I'm only like this because I had a very rough upbringing with almost no heat. I mean, yeah, if you got no heat and you're a really active kid and you just can't bring yourself to like sit still most of the time, so you're just running around in probably a jacket that's too small for you or too big for you, that's not keeping you that warm, you're gonna get very resistant to the cold. You're just gonna. Like, I didn't choose to be resistant. It just worked out that way. And quite honestly, I would rather be resistant to the cold than not resistant to the cold. The downside to that is that I have an immense weakness to fire and heat, which is a shame because I love campfires. I just can't get terribly close to them without feeling very, very uncomfortable. But, yeah. I'm gonna yap a little more about Path of Exile 2. I'm gonna get the festive dress, because it's the festive thing in here, so... I'm Mrs. Claus. Nah, I'm just festive. Very festive. Because, yeah, I've basically been playing almost nothing but Path of Exile 2 today, because the free trial, at time of recording this, ends in, like, 20 hours. So, I'm not gonna have much more time to play it before I lose access to it. And then have to pay for it to play it again. It would be really nice if they would just release it into free-to-play, like they've said they were going to do for ages now. But I get the feeling they're probably not gonna do that, because, one, development on the game is progressing at a snail's pace. Seems like you're interested in an RC helicopter. That I am. But, as in literally, that game launched into early access, when? 2 years ago? No, last year. Okay, so it's been a year. A year of early access. In that year, because they've released into early access on December 6th, 2024. In that year, oh, CJ's here. Neat. Looks like I'll be doing some fishing. I really want to go about fencing, but CJ's gonna take some precedent. Though he's kind of in the way here. Not gonna lie. What am I hearing? It ain't that. What am I hearing? Is it him moving around? Okay. Boy, you chubby. But yeah, like... Not only has it, like, in that year, they have gone through enough updates that they have recently released update 0.4. So that would imply, if I assume they started on version 0.1, that they have done one update every roughly 4 months? And they still don't even have all of the weapon types from the original Path of Exile in Path of Exile 2 yet. I didn't even notice. There are no swords. There are no daggers. Basically, there's no bladed weapons, for the most part. I think there's spears, if I remember right. But that's it. So, like, if your favorite thing to do was, like, sword and board, like, that sort of thing, you can't. You can do a hammer, you can do mace, but you can't do sword. You don't got it. You got the board. They've given you a shield. But they've not given you the, the rest of the sword and board. They gave you the, honestly, least important part. Like, I'm pretty sure most people would be happy with the sword without the shield. Not so much the shield without the sword. Now, this doesn't really matter to me any. I'm playing a ranger at this point. I was playing the sorcerer, but I swapped over to ranger because it just felt like... It felt like something I haven't really done that much before, in at least Path of Exile. Other games like that, yeah, I've played plenty of Rangers. My most played class in Diablo 3 is Demon Hunter, armed with the bow, the multi-shot quiver. I'm not gonna say I was the first person to do that build, but man, does it sure feel that way. Given, like, the update where all of that stuff kind of came into being and everything fell into place, people were experimenting with everything except multi-shot, it felt like. To the point where I was getting some, like, top-level clear times for, like, the Nephilim trials without a huge amount of effort, and I imagine a better player could have done immensely better, and I know they could have, because they have at this point. Like, for some point of reference, I know I was going to yap about Path of Exile 2, and now I'm yapping about Diablo 3, but this is just for some point of reference when it comes to multi-shot there, of which I have no reference for in Path of Exile 2. I'm not multi-shotting. I'm poison arrowing, because why not? There's a lot of synergies for that, specifically for the ranger, and nobody else. They are the only ones that are particularly capable of poison, so may as well. But yeah, these Nephilim trials, at the point, basically a lot of the multi-shot stuff got buffed, reworked, released, all in that sort of lot. The highest difficulties of the Nephilim trials were more or less still considered party content. It was thought that you needed a party to get through them, because you just did not have the damage output on your own. And then this change happened. And suddenly, the Demon Hunter had all the damage she ever needed to do all of that on her own. And yeah, I was getting solo clears competing with parties, like, because I was like, hey, I had one of the multi-shot quivers just sitting around and noticed, oh hey, this got buffed. Holy crap, this looks really good. And I threw it on, along with all kinds of other stuff to boost damage, including the pre-nerf but recently buffed at that point Sentry armor. So you make yourself at home, Glimmer. Let's talk. I moved to a new house 3 few days there. This is weird. Doesn't feel like it's mine. Like I'm staying over at somebody else's place. After a little while, like, it turns into my home. It's warm, it's safe, it's my only place in the world. I don't know if other folks go through that, but I do. Thought I'd tell my bestie about it. Aww. Yeah, everyone goes through that. But yeah. I honestly, when it comes to Path of Exile 2, I feel like player complaints almost directly coincide with their choices. At least, like, complaints about difficulty. Now, what do I mean by this? There's someone I talk to decently often. I'm gonna do some shaking. Can I do a lot of shaking and maybe get something? I can. Heck yeah, you can just shake the crap out of things. Give me an ornament. Give me more ornaments. Give me your ornaments, I know you got them. But there's someone I talk to a fair bit about games and stuff, and they were making mention of having so many problems. Like, they apparently had to do like 6 or so attempts on a boss. That really wasn't a problem, at least for me. But they also aren't really building for their character's class. They're building into another character's class, and thus are weaker than they should be, which more or less explains that. And that's what I more mean by it's kind of player's choice that's causing the problems. Which, in a way, is the game's kind of poor design, because, you know, players wouldn't be able to make those bad choices if it wasn't something that's literally encouraged for them to do. You know, it's decently encouraged for you to, you know, poke into other skill trees. Like, my Ranger Ascendancy, which really hammers home you shouldn't really be leaving your own tree. Their tree has a thing in it that gives you 4 passive skill points. Well, one of them. And lets you apply points from the starting point of either the Witch or the Warrior, depending on which one you decide. So, like, they want you to be poking into these other places. At least for my build, like, being very poison-focused, I have 0 reason to poke into either of those, but I'll take 4 free points. I'd be a fool to not take 4 free points. There's also a thing past that that lets me turn the generic stat increase nodes into 5% more damage, or 5% more defenses, or 5% something else. I think it's cooldowns. So, yeah, I want that. I only took this Ascendancy because it gives a bonus to poison damage. So, you know. Well, good evening. The star's just exquisite tonight. Me too. Almost forgot. Came across the recipe in an astronomical project book and jotted it down. Like you to have it. Do let me know if you try building it, would you? Well, have a splendid rest of your night. I know I shall. Oh. I really wish I could, like, stand up here and watch the shooting stars with Celeste, but if she walks too close to you while you're wishing on stars, you talk to her instead of wishing on the stars. And now the shops be closed. Oh. Hey, old Marina. Steven, how are you, Tall Nut? One chat. No fresh air never fails to cheer me up, Tall Nut. It's very fair. And, like, the thing is, I know, especially because I know this person, that they would probably argue that, oh, it wasn't because of their choices in skill tree. You know, they're struggling because I'm playing ranged and they're playing melee. Except I'm playing my ranged character in melee range most of the time. So, that argument's kind of null and void, because, you know, I'm not really playing a ranged character like a ranged character. I'm playing them like a shotgun maniac. I've only found one gyroid. There's another gyroid around somewhere, I just haven't found him. He's hiding. Clever boy hiding. I have an idea for today, because there's one mess up of snowman I don't think I've done. I've done the really comical looking ones. But I want to do 2 ginormous snowballs. We are gonna make the chubbiest snowman to ever be. And he's gonna be in front of Pinky's house because this is just a convenient spot for me to roll the snowballs. And yeah. Oh no, shops aren't closed yet. Right, they close at 10. I'm dumb. No, you leave that alone. Oh, the gyro will be right here. I keep thinking the stores close at 9 because they open at 9 if you don't have early bird ordinance. Which does lead me to a thing I can kind of yap about when it comes to this game. Or really, New Leaf and New Horizons. Why does it feel like every game that they introduce, that they have ordinances in, there's one of them that's just always required? Like, I know I'm weird with my love of flowers, but with New Leaf, Beautiful Town is kind of just required. Like, you have so much space and so many flowers, and you just, if you don't want them just wilting and dying, you need Beautiful Town. Which is what led to me initially running Beautiful Town in New Horizons before realizing, oh wait, flowers don't wilt. I don't need to run Beautiful Town. And running Beautiful Town means your flowers just keep growing all the time. Like it or not, this is your life now. So you're basically fighting against the flower horde. Chunky Man! Yo! It's Snowboy time! Cool slogan, right? Sure everyone will be saying it pretty soon here. You don't seem convinced. Maybe I have a better slogan if you put a little more work into making me cool. This is on you. You're chunky. That's pretty cool. Freaking Snowboys. Always out here complaining. But like, I had seen a lot of people in the global chat before I basically got sick of seeing it and turned it off, who were like asking for help to fight like some of the bosses I'd been fighting, and it's like, why do you need help with this? This isn't difficult. But then it kind of occurred to me. I found a skill, being Poison Burst Arrow. I found some support gems in the support gem tree, mostly thanks to the supported skill gems, that are really good with Poison Burst Arrow. And I've more or less built my character around using Poison Burst Arrow. I wonder how many people have not done that sort of thing. Because in every character, there is skills that you will want that you basically are going to have suggested to you while playing that character. And in the case of the Ranger, that was, you know, one of the 4 options was Poison Burst Arrow for my first skill gem. Of the recommended skills, you know, the bow skills. Because that character uses bows. So, you know, I then went looking through the tree. Okay, poison. Where is poison? It's all right there. Alright, cool. Cool, I'll deal with that. I'll roll that. And like, there is like damaging ailment as well in the skill tree, but it's also right there. It just also improves bleed and ignite. And one of the things I saw really early in the line that made me go, yeah, this could work, was a note that said deal 33% more damage to enemies inflicted with an ailment. It doesn't need to be a damaging one, just any ailment, and I'll be dealing 33% more damage. That's a good chunk of damage. For free, basically. And basically also means that after my first Poison Burst, the next one's raw damage hits for more. Because it has an ailment now. Like... And the Poison Burst deals poison damage based on the damage you deal. So that second stack of poison deals more damage than the first. And it's glorious. Things just die. I can currently get up to 3 stacks from my Poison Burst. Once I get the right skill from my Ascendancy, I will have 6 stacks of poison from my Poison Burst. Because it'll double the amount of stacks I can have. At base, everything else I can get 2 stacks of, so I'll have 4 stacks of their poison. Which... damage. It is freaking awesome, the amount of damage I can get. Alright. Freestyle, just 5 of anything. Alright, man, I can do that. I'll go put stuff away. But, yeah, like... it honestly makes me wonder, because, like... Even this person, I don't know if they're actually even using skills that they should be using. Because their thing was, well, they don't want to play the Druid, but they want to use the Druid skills. So play the Druid. I know they don't want to play the Druid, but if you want to use the Druid skills, play the Druid. That's what he's there for? Like, you shouldn't be, like, trying to cross-build? That doesn't work. The game's not designed for that to work. Like, it's very much designed for you to be pretty confined to what you should be doing based on your starting position. And like, I remember when PoE 2 came out, there were people commenting on how, you know, everybody has a pretty close starting point, so maybe? But no. No. That just doesn't work. Like, you're still way too far away from everything. And like, literally the things that matter the most is damage output. Because progress, you'll get defense. You know, as you get better gear, you'll acquire defense. You just will. So progress, get better armor as you go, and just focus on building your damage output, because that's what's going to matter in the end. Along the way, building through your respective line, you'll end up finding things that boost your survivability that you need to take anyway. So, you know, when this person mentioned this to me, I went, okay, I can go look at the skill trees. I mean, I don't need to own the game to do that, but I own the game right now. I can go, you know, look at the skill trees for real. And when looking through them, going from the Witch, which is where he started, over to the Druid, it's like 12 to 14 skill points before you reach your first damage increases. And he's like, well, I didn't go for those. I went for defense instead. It's like, it's even worse. Like, that right there is almost certainly the problem. Like, I don't get it. Like, you can't defend your way to victory. You need to be able to deal damage. And if you're not dealing good damage, then you're kind of wasting your time. And even like cross-lining like that, you are effectively putting yourself that many skill points behind. And the thing with Path of Exile, if you ever look at their skill tree, you'll see a ton of little nodes and a few big ones. Like, there's basically little circles, big circles. You want the big circles that are relevant to you. Those little circles just exist to slow you down from getting those bigger circles. Which does mean it is the type of game that you start, you pick your character, and then the first moment you get, I got fishing with my eyes. You open the passive tree, and you start taking notes. You map out your build. And if you don't know what your build is going to be yet, you don't apply passive points yet. Like, I mean, you can respec later, but that costs you in-game currency, and it's cheaper to just not. Especially where you'll probably get a skill gem beforehand, you know, before you reach that point, and especially with PoE 2, getting a single skill gem, you can basically see every skill gem at that point, so you can find your skill to build off of. And you just want to make sure it's one of the ones that you should be building for. Garden table. Heck yeah. This is going to be worth like nothing. It's out here anyway. It's out here being a garden table. It's garden the table. And like that's in general probably about the best advice I can give anybody who's even just playing the original Path of Exile. Look into what your character clearly wants to be doing, focus on that, find some skills to build around. They may not be the best, you might find better skills, but find some skills to build around. Got Norma. Ah, Steven, how are things for goo? Let's talk. I wonder what my parents are up to. I'll give them a call. You good? Pinky! Hi! Are you fully in the holiday spirit yet, Boop? Because if not, you're about to be. Get you a festive wreath. You love it, no need to answer. Aw, that's so nice. Be mega honored if you end up decorating your door with it. But no pressure, okay? Yay, Toy Day! I'm doing it right now. Because that's adorable that she, like, got given the recipe and then was like, no, I gotta go make one for my bestie, and then went and made it, and that's super freaking adorable. Why are they all fighting for most adorable? Decorate door. Heck yeah. But, like, the original Path of Exile is one of those games I don't think I could really recommend people get into just because of how, like, how grindy it is and how much research you need to do. But, like, there are definitely things with Path of Exile 2 where they're so different from the first game that anything you know about the first game in regards to them, just throw it out. Like, socketed equipment, for one. Like, the original Path of Exile, everything has sockets. Because sockets are important. Sockets are your skills. So you need to not only find equipment, but find equipment that has the right color sockets to the skills your class uses in the right connections to carry skills from one. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious, it's annoying, it's a bad system. I'm kind of glad they got rid of it. But, like, in Path of Exile 2, socketed gear is for putting runes into. And those runes can be pretty freaking good. Like, my poison damage builds off of my base damage. I've got a rune that I could realistically put a socket into my bow and use that would just give me 12% more damage. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. But, yeah, like, I am almost tempted to poke, like, every possible class just to see what their recommended starting skills are. Just so I can basically get an idea. It's like, you know, I get it to a degree of being like, well, I don't want to play that specific character, because each of the characters have their own personalities. There is no character customization. You play that character. But, like, it's not how the game is designed to be Diablo-like. Diablo 2-like, specifically. In a lot of ways. Only with their own little twists. And back in those days of action RPGs, yeah, you didn't get to pick. Like, if you wanted to be, you know, a javelin thrower in Diablo 2, you're playing the Amazon. You want to be, you know, sneaky rogue, you're playing the assassin. You want to be a mage, you know, a magic user, you're playing the sorceress. All three of those characters female. You want to play a male doing any of those things? Sucks to be you. I mean, technically you can get a mage in the druid, who is male, but he's not a mage in the same way the sorceress is a mage. The sorceress is elemental magics, through and through. There is also the necromancer. The necromancer is not so much a mage as he's the pet class. The druid is kind of a mix in a way of the sorceress and the necromancer. But the druid's unique thing is shape-shifting. That's more or less what the druid should be doing, is the shape-shifting bit. His summons are not as good as the necromancer's. He has some elemental magic, but it's heavily limited in its elements, and it's not as good as the sorceress is. Meanwhile, shape-shifting, he's actually really good. But, like, that's just how those games worked. Which is what makes Champions of Norath kind of cool for its time. Because you got to pick. You know, if you wanted to be a barbarian, you could pick male or female, and you had some basic character customization. Like, that was neat. You weren't locked to whatever they wanted you to be. I should really play through Champions of Norath at some point on the channel. I talk about that game a lot. And it's a really cool game. The main issue I have is I don't want to dig out my PS2 to play it, but it doesn't emulate the best. Like, it has some issues. At least last I was poking at it. I'm pretty sure the emulator I use is probably updated at this point, so it would probably be fine. And it was still perfectly playable, it just had some graphical issues from time to time. An ornament tree! Heck yeah! Quimus tree. Oh, actually no, it's completely different. It's Sagittarius arrow, that seems dangerous. How they all be making that? Ooh, that's actually... Well, it's a completely different thing that Pinky made for me then. I could actually make this. Get some Quimus going on. But yeah, like, I was tempted to also, like, take some notes while I was playing PoE 2 and, like, maybe do, like, a little video with, like, some B-roll just talking about the game and, like, my impressions on it. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't care enough. I'd started doing that ages ago with the original Path of Exile, and I never got around to it. It's the same as I started doing a, like, full, like, video essay, that's what it's called. I was gonna call it a video documentary. Like a video essay on, like, my experience with Final Fantasy XIV. And then I'm like, no, the community's gonna freaking hate this. I'm just not gonna do it. 18,000 bells. Hey! Yes! I'm taking it. I don't care. 18,000, that's what I said. I don't know which direction it is. It's one of the directions. 18,000. Freaking got it. Heck freaking yeah. Sold to the little man in the hat. I knew I was gonna get it one of these times. I knew it. Ignore that I was literally just pulling a number out of my butt. I didn't actually have a guess. I was just like, this feels like maybe 18,000. And then it was. Heck yeah. But yeah, I feel like I've got a lot of my feelings around Path of Exile 2 out. It is fun. If I get the chance and it ever goes on sale, I might pick it up before its free to play release. I honestly do feel a little bit like they are just cash grabbing it because they have a cash store already in the game with immensely expensive cosmetics and what some people might consider essentials. And honestly, I'd have to play more to know if they're actually essential. That being stash tabs. It's like $10 for a stash tab. That's a little ridiculous. And I say it's $10 for one because you can get one for cheaper, but you have to buy $10 worth of, and that's $10 USD worth of their coins. You can't just buy a stash tab. You have to buy $10 worth of their coins and then buy a stash tab. So anything lower than that amount is $10 because that's what you need to spend to get it. You know. It was itchy. But, yeah, I don't like that. I've never liked how expensive Path of Exile's cosmetics are. They had like an $80 town portal cosmetic that literally all it was it turned your blue town portal orange. That's all it was. Same effect, everything. It's just orange now. $80, please. Like, I'm sorry, what? That's like $2, maybe. That would have taken your artist maybe 5 minutes to just go in and change the color. Like, $2 at most. But nope, it was like $80. It's like, okay. Okay, guys. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow for sure, I am going to work on more yards. I'm going to finish both of the yards we've got. Unless Flick is in town. If Flick is in town, I'm going to be catching bugs. But I'm going to get this done. Or I might just do it in my own time, if I'm honest. I don't know quite yet. But that's going to be it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Horizons. See you all then.